shoot. Hey, welcome to Coffee with Kim. It's Kim here. I'm so excited for today. Coffee with Kim is where we celebrate people, what they do, what they love, and what they want. And today's guest, I am so excited for. I've been able to get to know him a little bit the last few months. We've all been, had a lot of stress, in our lives and around the world. And if that is what you've experienced, then this is the show for you today. And sometimes things don't work as you want them to. Today on Coffee with Kim, we'll be talking with DK Warinner. He is a husband, a father of 8 children, author, host of the Center of Calmness video podcast, and he's known as Mr. Calm. He is a founder of the DK method for eliminating stress and the Stressed2Success Program, helping anyone experiencing stress, anxiety, and overwhelm to shift from stressed out to more successful than ever before. All right, DK, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate it. It's great to be here in your coffee house. And I've got some coffee here. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so I hope people caught the first part of that video. I don't meet very many people that have more kids than I do. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what Houston's like, and let them get to know you a little bit.
Houston's a great city. I think there's about maybe 6 million people in the greater metro area here. It's very industrial, so it's great for folks. Now, of course, as the world transitions away from the oil and gas and more into the electric aspects of transportation, I'm not sure what the future of Houston will look like, but you can see the if you will, the remnants and all of that kind of flow, right, that created Houston in its heyday back when oil was over $100 a barrel or so. And actually the business that I've been involved with here that brought me to the city is a steel-based business where, although we serve several different sectors, we do also still heavily serve, probably 30-40% of our business is still in oil and gas. And so we still enjoy a fair bit of business from our very healthy customers in that sector.
Wow.
But that's just the business side, right? Now the family side, of course, we're not really from Houston. We're actually from the Midwest, and we moved several occasions for work and et cetera. And actually, we began building our family very slowly. It's not like when my wife Sarah and I were in college that we wrote down a little plan like they tell you to do nowadays and say, okay, we're gonna have 8 children, and we're gonna have the first one after we're married 3 years. And no, we didn't do that, right? Now we did have Maria, my oldest daughter, when we were married only 3 years. And I think she's turning around to 22 years old, coming up here pretty soon. And then from there, it was a stair step, right? So every couple of years, we were blessed with another child. So we ended up with 5 stair step kids. And we actually have a picture, which I don't have with me today, where you could actually draw a line from the head of the oldest Maria down to the head of the youngest Gabriel. And it was actually a stair step line perfect, right?
Yeah.
And so that moment really sticks in my mind, where we kind of had that picturesque, a large family. Very picturesque. But then there was a bit of a turnaround time, right? Where as those kids began to grow, and my wife Sarah and I began to think about the future, my wife got a posting. It was in one of these mothers of many young siblings news groups. Back then, news groups were in, right? And she got this post, and she looked at me and said, "Check out this post." It was an ad to adopt 4 boys from Eastern Europe, right? And these boys were the ages of boys that we would have had, right, if we kept going with our children, right? They would have fit the stair step. And so that really got our attention. And we didn't end up adopting those boys, but it got us kind of activated to really thinking about the potential for adoption. Not so much that we wanted to grow our family, but more that there was a need, right, for kids to find homes. And that, long story short, led us to adopt 3 special needs children from Eastern Europe that now make the 8. So we have actually the 2 oldest adoptees are actually our oldest children, now 23 years old. And then the youngest is Rose, only 8. And she's just a ball of energy just running around. She pretty much runs her house at this point. So yeah, that's a long story short, kind of how we ended up with 8 children, and it's always a blast over here.
Yeah, no, it is. My daughter kind of told the joke that my husband wanted 2, I wanted 4, and that's how we ended up with 6. So I get what you were saying at the beginning. You just don't go saying, I'm going to have 6 kids. So
Right, right. They usually come one at a time unless there's multiples, twins, triplets.
yeah,
We do know some couples that there are some families that had actually, I think one had quadruplets, and it was just, well, let's just have one more child, right?
yeah,
Instead of one, they were blessed with 4. So
wow,
they went from, I think they also went from either 2 to, I think they went from 2 to 6. So
yeah.
yeah, those changes come in, as I put it, in God's timing.
Yep, absolutely. So today we're talking about stress and anxiety. And, I know I've had a fair amount of it, and I still do, right? But having those tools and techniques are really important. And so let's just kind of dive right in. How did this even begin, DK?
Well, it began for me at a pivotal point in my career. I started out as an engineer and then worked my way into management, and then got some business training and began taking on more combined technical business roles. But as I began moving into business in corporations, medium to large size, the environments and the industries that I were in were somewhat old school. So I began to run into a lot of politics. And eventually I landed at a particular
Mhm.
company at a particular place that was within one of these portfolio corporations where each location has its own culture, so to speak. And it was a very negative, I hate to say this, but just realistically a fairly toxic culture. And as an introvert, as someone who is more performance based and not so political, I got crushed there. I mean, just to shorten the story to right to the punchline, I got crushed there. I got totally shut down. Like we're learning nowadays about personal development, self development, and those kind of things, and this qualified for total shutdown. Right, I could barely get myself into work each day, and I actually had to exit the office at lunch for a recharge, just to get through the afternoon. It was that bad. And
Wow.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that to blame the company. I'm just saying that was my experience as I went through that particular
Well, we
environment.
all we all have had those experiences, right? I was in corporate America. My husband, still is, and it's hard. You get in those cultures and those environments, and it's not what you expect. So no, wow, yeah, I can
Exactly.
relate.
Yeah. So once I reached that shutdown point, then I knew that I needed a solution because I had aspirations to grow and to continue developing. And I knew that if I stayed in shutdown, I not only would not be able to move forward, but I likely would lose even what I had. Right. So I had a strong anxiety and fear, and even to the point of panic of what was going to happen
Wow.
with my career. And I was reading some of these development books where they kind of let you in on the curve of the outcome if you don't take positive steps right when you need to. Well, it's a downslope, right?
Yep.
And so I saw that for me. I'm like, I can't have that, right? That curve's not going to work for me. So I began really focusing in on what's the solution, right? And as I went to the solution professionally, it also quickly went into what's the solution personally, because I knew that I had this chronic anxiety problem. As I traced it back, it actually started when I was only 2 years old. I was in an accident then, and who knows what
Wow.
happened, but there was a trigger point, and I think a lot of folks are familiar with what that is, right? But
Yep.
it triggered a panic attack syndrome, right? That I had been suppressing this whole time and managing it to some extent, but managing wasn't working, right? And obviously, I was also triggered in this office environment. So I began looking for solutions. I put hundreds of, maybe even thousands of hours into training, and also reverting back to earlier training that I received in martial arts and meditation, and began just putting it together, as well as making some major shifts in my professional life to find the environment. I was in search of this perfect corporate environment. I'm still looking for that, by the way. I haven't found it yet. Maybe it's out there. But really, that as I continued to find, or not find, if you will, that culture where I could find the support externally, I began to look internally, which, as we'll discuss here going forward, is a much stronger approach than relying on others outside to
Oh,
kind of be that supportive, energetic force. It's really
that's
what you're bringing yourself and what you're able to bring in and flow out to others that's much more powerful.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm very much a proponent, and people will start getting to know more and more about with me as well, is that personal development piece, right? It's what's on the inside is what happens on the outside. So it's so important. It's critical, to develop those tools.
Absolutely. So that's what I began doing, began developing those, began investing very heavily in mentorship development. I actually took a couple of pay cuts on the way through to change my professional situation and really move away from that kind of that reputation development and politics, and more toward, well, what skills do I really need? What do I see folks around me not able to do, and where can I add value? And what do I need to know to be able to add that value? So I began accepting assignments that some would consider lesser, but for me, they were focusing on specific skill sets, cost modeling, pricing strategy, stuff that some folks are very expert at. But
Wow.
I saw a lot of just glossing over in my career, and I needed to know a lot about those particular topics, and that knowledge has served me well as I move forward. But the bigger shift was away from kind of that political development I'm having trouble thinking of the right word. Basically, moving forward based only on reputation and how others push you based on your reputation, and moving more toward providing value, specific skill sets, and all that. And then, of course, I began to apply that internally to eliminating this chronic anxiety problem, and I was able to find a solution for that.
Yeah, I am. One of the things that I'm excited about today, everyone, is DK is also going to take us through a tool today. And so one of the things I want to share with you is when we were first discussing him coming on the show, we were talking about, my tools, his tools, and one of the things that I wanted to work on this year. And he brought up the word meditation, and I said, that is one of the things I'm working on. So I've been telling the community here, my word is creation, create more self-love, create, whatever it is that I need more of in my life. And meditation was one of them. And is this a good time for me to share kind of what my experience was that I shared with you yesterday?
I would think so. Yeah, I'm very excited to hear the synopsis of what that experience was like for you, Kim.
Yeah. So there's a piece of my business that I have been working on for probably a good year now. And I haven't really launched it or done anything with it, or not known how I want it to look or how it felt right to me, because mine's a lot of intuition and feeling. And so I started he sent me a little video, and he personalized it just for me. And I started going through it. And I was like, okay, this has never worked for me in the past. How am I going to do this? Well, I said, just took a leap of faith, and I went through it. And it was somewhere in the middle of this meditation. I feel bad. I didn't finish it. I literally had like a download of all this inspiration of things that became super, super clear. So I just started writing it all down. And I am just so excited. And it's part of stuff I'm going to be creating this year and launching. And I was just like, wow, it really works, DK. I mean, thank you so much.
I'm so glad, Kim. And if you haven't finished watching the video, there's a portion of it at the end that I think you really need to see.
Oh, I plan on it, definitely. So I just wanted to kind of get through that. And I was, everyone pretty much knows, if you've been watching the last few days, I've been traveling too. So, but even just to have that little bit of inspiration, miracle, it was so powerful. So I'm definitely excited about what more you're going to share with us today. We also have gifts today, and we're trying to keep within that time frame that we always tell you we're going to keep in. But I'm hoping, if we run a little bit over, you have, your permission to do that, because I think that really what you give DK is a lifeline, and that is what I want people to have, right, going forward. And if they connect with you and want to work with you, that's what we want to celebrate you and find people that connect with you. So what would you like to do?
Well, I would like to maybe take us through a brief exercise, if I could, right here on the show.
Okay.
I don't normally do that, but I think just given that you and I, Kim, have really had a lot of great conversations, and you had such an impact from the meditation-based approach that I revealed by video there. I would love to just take folks through perhaps a little bit faster version of the whole process. It'll be the first time I've done this on a live stream like this.
All right. Hey, it's all good.
Cool. Awesome. So, but just as we begin, there's really two reasons to go to leverage a system like the DK method. The first is if you're suffering heavy stress, if you're feeling overwhelmed for any reason, the DK method allows you to reach a center of calmness, and that is the goal and the approach. So that's the first reason. I do recommend anyone out there who wishes, please reach out if you're in that state. And if I can help you, I would love to have the opportunity to provide that shift just by taking you through this DK method, which I can take you through in this short version now, and we also can take you through a much deeper and longer version that will allow you to really shift stuff deeply in your body, in your emotions, and in your mind, and even beyond that, as I'll show you and illustrate here shortly. But the second reason, and I think perhaps this is very important given that we're about ready to enter into New Year's, and Kim, some of your other shows have really talked about development moving forward. I think of was it your show with Fatima,
Yes.
where you talked about visioning and dreams, and you mentioned something. I think the comment was that you mentioned that we all need to dream more. Is that how you put it?
Absolutely. That is one of the parts of my programs that I'm creating this year. Is we've forgotten how to dream, right? And I appreciate you mentioning that. I was on Fatima's workshop last night, and I'm going to just tell you, I did a vision board years ago when they became popular. And I had my daughter attend with me last night, and we had several other attendees. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And it took vision boards to a whole new level. And it's so impactful. And I think that's why I love how, we started with Fatima and then what you're bringing here. It is here we are, a couple more days till the new year. And this is a launching pad. I feel that what we've created the last 2 weeks is a beautiful launching pad for people to go into this new year. And not that the past year was bad. There was so much growth and so much good, if you really look deep, that has come out of it. But so thank you so much again. So
awesome.
Anyway, yes. So
that's perfect. So Kim, let me ask you then, did you come up with a dream since your meeting with Fatima, and particularly as you went through the session? What did you say it was last night?
Yeah, my dream is to expand more of what I'm doing here is in serving, right? Serving others, loving what I do, serving others, and providing value. And
awesome.
So my courses and everything kind of really got a whole lot of clarity. I think that was probably the perfect word. Is those dreams have become crystal clear.
Awesome. So clarity of dreams, a desire to reach out more, educate, inspire, and enjoy the results and all of the positivity that comes from helping others to move forward faster than ever before. That's perfect. So that's your dream. And anyone out there, the process that we're going to go through in just a couple minutes involves your dream as well. So make sure to crystallize that into perhaps a sentence or two, just like Kim did here. And we'll start with that. The other thing that we need to begin is, please recall, if you would, a moment in your past where you were perfectly at peace, where everything was right in the world. You had no worries, no concerns, and you're just enjoying the free flow and energy exchange of being fully connected, right? Perhaps with your family, perhaps with your past and future, or just with the environment, and preferably all of the above, where everything was just right. And perhaps that feeling is recalling right now in your own existence, right, in your own mind and body, where you can actually have a visceral response, as I mentioned, that time of perfect peace. For me, it was when I was in the ocean, right? I would actually walk out into the ocean and stand there, right? So that's my thing. I love that, and that was my first exposure actually to finding my way out of chronic anxiety, was in the ocean. It's a matter of releasing the chest energy, right? The anxiety tends to form and be held and trapped in the chest, right? Well, yes. In the ocean provides a sink. In the electrical world, that's what we call it. It's like a massive ground, right? And if you learn a relatively simple technique of just releasing all this pent up and energy that it's like carrying a boulder around, right? You let that release in the ocean, and it's gone, right? And then from there, then you need additional support to move forward from there. But that was my first taste of freedom, emotional, pure joy and emotional freedom, just out there in the ocean in the sunlight and just enjoying the freedom of not having to carry this, right?
Oh yeah.
It was so huge. But for each of you, there's a moment, and it could have been an experience from your past. A lot of folks mentioned a specific experience that they have where they felt at peace. For other people like me, it's a place, and like him as well, it's a place that you either go to or have returned to in your past. So we need those two things: your clear dream, they call it a dream statement, and your place of perfect peace. And we'll just go through quickly. I don't want to. I want to respect the show time frame, Kim. So we'll normally we would take up to 10 or maybe even 15 minutes to do this in a slow and methodical format, and we can do that. And as we'll talk about with the gifts later, there's an opportunity for the audience to participate.
Absolutely, absolutely. I hope we have some people showing. No comments yet, but if you do, just remember to click the StreamYard link, then your comments be coming up. But definitely, let's get going. So
awesome. Okay, so with those two things in mind, a dream and a place of peace, let's begin. It's possible to do this exercise with your eyes closed, your eyes open. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to, and I will actually close my eyes as I go through it. So yeah, you can maybe signal out if I'm running a bit long, because that does happen. Some of these are quite long, but I'm going to work hard to keep this within 5 minutes time frame.
Okay.
All right. So first, just begin with a few diaphragm breaths. And what I mean by diaphragm is don't expand your chest and don't expand your abdomen either, right? Just grab a hold of your diaphragm and draw the air in only with the diaphragm movement. So just draw it in for 3, pause for 1, and then just let your lungs relax to exhale. And then take another breath, diaphragm only. And then a third, diaphragm only. And with each breath, let your body and your muscles in particular relax. And now just continue that diaphragm breathing at your own pace and let your muscles relax from head to toe. We'll just do that as a general scan overview to keep for speed. But start from the top of your head and just scan down your body through your face, through your shoulders, through your chest, your core, hips, legs, even down to your feet, and then down your arms to your fingers until your fingers and toes perhaps even tingle a little bit, indicating that you've completed the scan and you're fully relaxed and your energy is flowing out to your fingertips and down to the tips of your toes. Right, and then the next step we'll take is place our hands right over the belly button and bring your mind's focus behind your hands into your emotional center and spend maybe 5 seconds just sensing the wave action of your emotions. They could be like a raging sea, like when the surf is high, or if you're calm and at peace, it could be like a still, smooth pond. And just get a sense of those waves and assign a color rating to your emotional energy. Red if it's raging, yellow if it's driven, perhaps committed energy emotionally, a deep feeling, green if you're relatively calm. And assign that color, and then with your mind's focus, just focusing behind your hands, draw that color down with an intention of calmness from red to yellow, and from yellow to green, and even from green toward blue, like the blue of the ocean, as your emotions become progressively calmer, from red to yellow to green. I'll pause for just 5 seconds to allow everyone to do that. Take another diaphragm breath. And then bring your mind's focus, perhaps just touching your temples for just a moment, bring your mind's focus to the center of your head and observe the thought energies and the waves of your thinking as they move back and forth. And if they're like the raging sea, if you've got your thoughts everywhere all scattered and highly energized, that would be a red for your thought process. A yellow would be perhaps you're working deeply on a problem of some kind to solve it with thinking. That would be a yellow, energized, a lot of brain energy going out, but it's directed. Green would be you're just chilling out. You're just here with us, and that would be great. Green would be calm, relatively peaceful. Just assign that color. I'll pause just for 3 seconds. And then apply your mind's intention right in the center of your head, just to calm those thoughts as well. And just let them settle and fall, as if you don't need to hold them up anymore for just a moment while we're here in this safe place. Just bring that calmness to your thought process specifically, with that mind focused at a point right in the center of your head, right in the center of your brain. And just let that calmness take hold as the color shifts from red to yellow, yellow to green, green to blue. And then let's shift and visualize strongly that place of perfect peace that you recalled from earlier. And what I mean by shift, I mean step directly into that moment as if you're living it for the very first time right now, with all of its sensory feelings, the tastes, the smells, the feeling of the wind if you're outside, the conversations if perhaps you're in a public place, the water, the ground, the clothes you were wearing, the feeling of everything, all of the feelings, bring them all back as you relive that moment of perfect peace again for the very first time. And let the feelings and let that visualization fill your mind and also fill your body and your energy signature that's actually around your body. Just let that moment continue to strengthen. Let that visualization transition from just a thought into a physical mind-body experience as you move back to that place, that time, that moment of perfect place. And let that moment just slow down as if time is slowing and you're just enjoying every microsecond of that moment, reliving and re-experiencing. And now to finish the exercise for today, just place your hands in front of you, cupped, and visualize a bird in your hand. And then put your other hand kind of over it just to hold the bird. And then I'd like you right now just to whisper the dream that you have to the bird. And just whisper it into the bird's ear as if the bird would hear you, because it does. And when you're done whispering that dream, release your hand and give the bird a lift and let the bird release and fly. And put your mind's focus on yourself as well as on the bird. And as the bird is flying away, and I mean visualize it flying away quickly and upward, just let your mind expand to take in the sky that's between you and the bird, and just feel your mind and your mind senses expanding as the bird flies away and takes the dream forward for you. And just let that sense of how much sky you're taking in as you're zooming out and keeping this bird in focus, and that mind expansion as you take in all of that sky, that's the expansion of your mind actually. And just let that continue to grow. And then just place your hand on your heart as you're visualizing that sky that you're taking in, and just express gratitude for the soon coming fulfillment of your dream. Just let that gratitude radiate out directly from your heart. And then open your eyes.
Oh my. Thank you so much. That is beautiful, and it very peaceful, and that is something I'm going to start practicing on a daily basis. Thank you so much for giving us all that gift. And talking about gifts, okay, everyone, I'm going to have so many links at the bottom of this. So DK has done a huge gift to us at Coffee with Kim. He has given a $97 value right here, success activation session. It's a one-on-one with you, and the value is $97. He is going to offer this to 5 people. 5. All right, so the first 5 that email him, and I'm going to stop this real quick. Email him at relaxmedk@gmail.com. I'll also put that in. There's a link in there for a calendar. You'll have that as well after the show today. You will have his email. You'll have his link. And there's one more thing that I want to have on here is he has a webinar coming up on January 7th. You see it down here. There's a link for that at his group pages, Stressed2Success. There should be another / after that, Stressed2Success. But everything will do, you'll have all the links and all the gifts from him. I ask all my guests to at least give one gift. He has given us many gifts here, and I hope you all appreciate him being here and the gifts that he's given us, because I know the gifts that it has been for me, and I am so grateful for it. Fatima she says, "Wow, what a beautiful exercise. Thank you, DK, for sharing." So she is someone who meditates as well. So for her to also appreciate this, that to me says a lot as well. And so thank you, DK. Is there anything else that maybe I've forgotten with this?
I think you've covered it all, Kim. I really appreciate the opportunity to join you here in the coffee house. It's been great, and so great. I actually went through the exercise myself as I was taking everyone through it, and I'm feeling re-energized on my own dreams as well. So I look so forward to seeing what everyone is able to accomplish without stress as they move forward into the new year, and just living a lot more, right? That's what this experience is about. It's about getting out of our own way and just letting the stress release, and then applying the power of our mind to advance us forward into fulfilling our dreams.
Yeah, thank you so much, DK. And I love his calm energy. That's why they call him Mr. Calm. Mr. Calm was in the house today, and I look forward to having you on again. And I hope everyone received value from this today. I was going to do my little Happy New Year, everyone, and we're going to let DK go. I'm going to introduce who our next guest is for Monday. So thank you so much, DK.
Thank you, Kim.
All right. I don't know about you, but I feel so calm and at peace, and I kind of needed that today. So I so appreciate that. So I want to tell you, I have a guest for Monday. So we're back to our Mondays, everyone. So thank you for joining us today. Back to our Mondays. I have known this young woman since she was a little girl. Her mother and I, DK's from, down in Houston, Texas right now. I lived there for 10 years. I still have 4 of my children. My 4 boys are still there, and my grandchildren. But this girl I've known since she was little. Her mom and I substituted for her mom. Her mom's a science teacher in Frisco. And she is one talented powerhouse girl. She was a young girl. She was doing acting. She was doing singing, 2 of the things that my daughters have been doing over the years. But her name is Piper Byers. Whoop, there we go. She is going to be in the house. She is going to we're going to celebrate her journey of creating music and so much more. You're going to hear from her over the next few days. She is on Spotify, all of the big music. She has many singles out. She's getting ready to do an album. I am so excited and honored that she would be willing to come on here and share her gifts and her talents to the world. And having said that, I know we are way over our time today, but I appreciate your patience, and I hope you gained value out of this. And you guys, Happy New Year. I am going to play my little fun outro with the holiday, because it's probably the last time I get to do it. I love you all. I so appreciate you spending time here with Coffee with Kim. Please share and like on YouTube and on our Facebook page. And just Happy New Year. Off to a great start.